So I was editing a video yesterday and I noticed I feel like my background needs a change. I don't know. I feel like we need new guys or I don't know. We need new things. Obviously Game of Thrones is done and that went in a direction. I'm disappointed in you. I mean, Danny on Drogon's cool, or like Jack and Rose. Jack and Rose are staying. Jack and Rose are staying. I don't know, man. I feel like we need something else. Just want to get that out of the way. Today, I am oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this video. I have been waiting. I have been waiting months to be able to film this video. Curly girl method, curly girl, curly hair. I feel like I've stopped talking about curly girl a little bit recently. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, I felt like it was getting a little bit, I don't want to say overwhelming, but I feel like I dove into it because it was something new to me, it was something exciting for me, and I know not everybody has curly hair. Although I've gotten a lot of comments on people saying that they watch even though they have stick straight hair because they just think it's really interesting or they like seeing me excited about something. And to you, I say thank you so much. That's so sweet for you to say. The other reason was because I really felt like there was a period there of like a month and a half or so where I was seriously struggling with figuring out what worked for me as far as a routine with my hair. I dove so deep into Instagram and what other people were doing and what other people swore by and all these different routines, and it never was working. So finally, I remember just a day where I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna try it my own way. I'm gonna combine a bunch of stuff and see what happens, and that's kind of what I've been doing since then. And don't worry, I'm going to be filming a routine video. And don't worry, I'm going to be doing a routine video very soon where I will show you what I've been doing, the products that I've been using. But of course, this is all subjective, so I think it's fun to see how other people do their hair. It's the same with makeup. You see how people do their makeup, their routines are, and then you tweak it to work for you. But that's not what this video is about, so I need to stop talking about that. Today's video, okay, I have this section in the front of my head right here that just, this is where it goes. This is where it hangs naturally. Today's video is something that I'm really excited about because I am finally getting a curly haircut. Now you may be thinking, Leesha, how is that different from a normal haircut? What the fuck is this? Really? Really? Go on that side then. Be that way. A curly haircut is actually pretty different from a normal haircut in the sense that you get your haircut dry. So normally when you get your haircut, go in, you get it washed, and then they cut it, and then they blow dry it, and then maybe they'll do a little bit of tweaking when it's dry. But the majority of your hair is cut while your hair is wet. With curly girl haircut, the idea is that with curly hair, there's obviously a lot of shrinkage. So, you know, when your hair's wet, it's gonna be a lot longer than when it's dry. So if you cut it wet, it's not gonna really give you a good representation of what it's going to look like when it's dry. So curly girl haircut means that they go in curl by curl. So each curl, and they cut each curl individually. They can see exactly what it looks like, how it curls, and where maybe, like for example, this one, you see this? Maybe it needs to get cut like here because of whatever the hell this is. I don't know for sure. I've never gotten one. I've just seen videos of them. I've been so anxious to get my hair cut. My hair obviously has been through the ringer. I've had it a million different colors and styles and bleach and all sorts of things. So that's going to affect how my hair curls, and there's some areas that don't curl, all sorts of stuff. So I made an appointment back in the beginning of like April, and this is a curly hair salon in Arizona. There's only a couple. This one is in Gilbert. Been waiting a long time. Some of you guys noticed this, but I ended up cutting my hair myself. Probably not something that you should do, but for a long time, the ends of my hair were just straight and strangly and gross. So I ended up cutting it myself. And when you have curly hair, your hair is a little bit more forgiving when you cut it just because you can't completely tell. It's not like a straight line. So I know that there are some areas where there's definitely pieces that should have got cut that didn't, and it's not perfect at all. But I just was so anxious that impulse got the best of me. I'm very excited because I get my hair cut tomorrow in the afternoon. I'm gonna take you guys with me. This salon, their only way of making appointments and really talking to anyone is through text message. So you don't really get a chance to be like, hey, can I film this? So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. If I'm able to, cool. If not, I will do as best I can to get little clips and all that stuff. My hair right now is on second day hair. So I washed it yesterday morning, and so this is day 2. It looks pretty good for day 2. My main issues that I'm wanting to fix with this haircut is basically to give it more shape and to bring up some layers so that there is more volume at the top. I want like bigger hair. The bulk of my volume is in my bangs. My bangs are super thick. They like to go forward. They're kind of just a pain in the ass, and they're by far the most curly part of all of my hair. My widow's peak is like super curly, and then the rest of my bangs are a much tighter curl, where everywhere else is definitely in the wavy stage, kind of transitioning into having a little bit more of a loose curl. By far, the front is the most curly, and that's where most of my volume comes from. I need to get more layers because everything else kind of just feels like it's hanging and it's pulling down on my hair. I'm hoping layers will make it curl a little bit more and then be able to give me more of a fuller volume look instead of it just feeling kind of that triangle shape. I don't want that so much. I also am hoping that I can find a solution with my bangs because I constantly feel like I don't know what to do with them. Should they go on that side? Should they go on this side? I mean, they kind of can bounce around a little bit, but you see what I mean? And I know that that's not necessarily about curling my hair, but I'm just hoping that going here and being able to talk to someone directly who can touch my hair and feel it and get an idea of where we're at and give me some advice on what kind of styles. And that's the other thing too, is that the bangs are so much shorter than the length of my hair that I'm wondering if we're gonna have to cut it. I don't want to cut it short at all. A lot of people, when they get their hair cut, when they go curly, they call it the big chop because their hair is so damaged that they end up needing to cut a good chunk of it off. I don't want to have to do that. Obviously, if it comes down to it, I'm not opposed to losing some hair. It's gonna grow back. It's not the end of the world. I'd rather have it, all look good. I'm not one to hold on to length instead of getting rid of hair that's super damaged and gross. So we will see. All I want is for it to be big, bad, and beautiful. I just want it to be big and luscious, gigantic awesomeness. So I'll see you tomorrow and we'll see how this goes. All right, guys, hi. So right now it is 1:27. I just barely made it. I'm in my car. I'm about to go into the salon. So this salon is called Curls Gone Wild. It is in Gilbert. It's in downtown Gilbert, Arizona. And I got my hair up because it's just a mess today. I am super excited and hopefully we'll be able to film everything. I mean, you guys saw the before, so let's see. So here's a little look at the haircut section. This whole process ended up being a lot of education. More than anything, which I thought was really cool because it allowed me to kind of get an idea of different ways to style my hair, different ways to take care of my hair, having it be natural and not really having any heat other than using a diffuser. But you can see when she cut my hair, it actually was different than what I was expecting. So I was expecting to go in and have my hair cut first and then have it washed and styled and all of that. What actually happened is I came in, she showed me refresh techniques on my hair that was already dirty and not clean, and then she washed it, she conditioned it and showed me different ways to go about conditioning it, which she focused on smoothing the hair out instead of anything else, which was something that I definitely don't do, but it makes sense when you think about how a hair how it's like a pine cone and how it can be like texture, and then when you smooth it, you're smoothing down all that texture. Think about like every Pantene and L'Oreal commercial you've ever seen. It's basically like that. It makes sense. But now she's cutting my hair and it is totally dry and it has a gel cast on it, which I think was interesting. I wasn't expecting this, but it actually makes a ton of sense because when the gel cast is on, you're getting all of those different curl groups that like curl clumps, curl families, whatever you want to call them. And they're going to be a lot more separated and easily defined when they have the gel cast than when there's no cast at all. So I thought that was really interesting. It was definitely not something that I was expecting. And it was really cool to see that was the way that she went about cutting it. Now, I noticed for the most part, the amount of hair that she cut off was on the lower layers. So the lower layers of my hair are definitely quite a bit shorter, but still cut a little bit on the higher layers, but it was more so about trying to get all of the dead ends cut off more than anything else. All right, friends, all done. Can we please talk about this volume though? Oh my God. Most of the appointment was education, which was really cool, but of course, you know, that's why people go there, so they didn't want me to film that, which I completely understand and respect. We did the haircut and it was really cool because it was not what I expected. They actually shampooed, conditioned, did all that. Education taught me I was doing everything basically the way that is like counterproductive. And then they actually cut it with the gel cast. So that was actually super, super cool. It ended up being super awesome. I mean, you could see it got lots of volume going, looking fresh and fun. I'm really excited. So yeah. All right guys, so I'm here to do a little bit of an update. I didn't really get to do a very in-depth talk right after I got my haircut, so I kind of wanted to come back on here and just talk about it, talk about some of the stuff that I learned, how I feel, all that. I guess technically refreshed my hair. I completely got it wet, put some conditioner in it, rinsed it out, and then restyled it. And the reason I did this was because the first day when I had gotten it cut, didn't get a chance to end up coming on here and talking other than just what I showed in the car. The other part was that I really didn't love how it was styled. This whole process with getting this curly girl haircut, a lot of it had to do with education. And I think that it's meant for people who are completely lost with how to do their hair, how to do curly girl, all of that stuff. I think it's great, and I'm really glad that I went and learned and got to hear a perspective from like an actual stylist, because like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's kind of like with makeup, is that a lot of us rely on influencers or people online who may not have training, who may not totally know what they're talking about outside of their own specific experience on their own face. There's nothing wrong with this, but sometimes it can leave us as a viewer feeling frustrated because something that might work for them is not going to work for us in speak. So something that an influencer might do might not work for me. Something that I do might not work for you, vice versa. I just got this shirt and I don't know how I feel about it. It's like tight in the waist, but then I don't know, it's weird, but whatever, it's cute. The big thing that was stressed during my education haircut was hydration, not lubrication. Where if we keep, you know, smoothing the product in and focusing more on water than product, it's going to get the hair hydrated and it's going to leave it smoother, less frizzy, and have it go to its curl family was the other thing that was stressed too. I told the stylist what I was using, how I was doing my hair, and she was telling me I was using way too much product. The thing that she really did was that she took a really long time putting conditioner in my hair. She washed it really well, really focusing on the scalp. And then when she put in the conditioner, she was doing it in tiny sections and really focusing on getting it into the hair and smoothing it into the hair, which is something that I do not do. I am definitely one that goes like this. She basically just put gel and a little bit of cream in. When I do my hairstyle, I'm still gonna do a video on what I do just to show you guys, but I use quite a few more products. So I just restyled my hair today and I wanted to try restyling it the way that I like to do it. And so I'm just gonna talk about a couple of things that I've noticed. When I had it done at the salon, it did have a lot more volume. That means it had a lot more frizz too. But I noticed that it felt worse. And I get the reason it felt worse was because the whole hydration, not lubrication. So it felt drier to me, and I can guarantee that's because it had less product in it, where the products I'm using here are somewhat coating my hair, so it's leaving my hair looking shinier and looking smoother. Another thing that I learned was just how trained my head still is. Even 5 months into being curly and having natural hair, my head is still so trained into that mentality of needing the shine, like the way that we kind of think when we're straightening our hair or blow drying it or anything like that, where it needs to be shiny, it needs to be this, it needs to feel this way, and that's not necessarily the best thing. I learned that I should be air drying longer. The stylist told me that plopping, where you put your hair all up, she doesn't like to do that. She was basically going on about what I believe on the internet is called micro plopping, where it's basically you take your microfiber towel and you squeeze the hair like this. So I did that today and I actually prefer it. It gets all of that water out, but it still maintains the curl. It just was a lot of information. And actually, as far as the haircut went, she cut off a good amount more hair than I was expecting. Not a ton. obviously. I mean, it was really not that much, but I still have just that disconnect. It sucks, man, because I want less of a disconnect between my bangs and the rest of it, right? Like, I want there to be not so much of a disconnect, but the only way that's gonna happen is if I get like this little ass bob, which I'm not gonna do. So I'm just trying to get used to all of it. I don't feel like it's that much different. I guess in my head, I was hoping for this just huge transformation when really, how was it gonna be a huge transformation, right? So overall, if you're trying to do curly girl stuff and you have a salon near you, I would 100% recommend, if they have an education course, to go do that, because I thought that that was really cool. It was really awesome to learn and have someone actually show me on my own hair. I definitely learned a lot of stuff that maybe would be able to learn online watching influencers and stuff. Being able to have somebody actually touch my hair, my personal hair, and give me personal advice just for me was really cool. I wish I got a little bit more of a difference with my haircut, I guess. I don't really even know what I expected. Maybe I just went in expecting too much and expecting this to be completely change everything, and it didn't, because, you know, I got impatient and cut off all the scraggliness cut like a month ago, so that got rid of the majority of the problem. I don't know. I feel like we got a little bit more volume though. A little bit more. I don't know. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.